Oh look, another little YouTuber with their precious Apple Vision Pro returning it because they don't like it anymore. Pathetic.
That's right, I've returned the Apple Vision Pro and in return have $3,700 back in my bank account. If you're still back and forth with the thought of having an Apple Vision Pro in your life at some point, keep watching as I'm going to go over a number of points for you to consider. And I want to state, I'm not hating on Apple for this device. They delivered on version 1 and it's incredible in so many ways. And I'll absolutely buy a future version of this device again when the technology, experience, and price is right. Quickly, I'll add, I don't think I've ever returned a piece of technology I've bought in my entire life. Some may think I bought it to review on this channel, bang out a couple videos only to return it. And they would be wrong. That was never my intention or how I operate. So getting started, it didn't take me long to realize this was not a crucial device in my life. I relate this back to my initial thoughts of the iPad. When I first was going to buy the first iPad, I asked, what am I going to do with a big iPhone, which is portable, and I already have my MacBook Pro? Now, I will admit the iPad didn't make sense right away, and it probably didn't make as much sense until I started using it a lot like nowadays. But it goes to show that things can change. So there could be hope for the Apple Vision Pro one day as it matures just like the iPad with the OS, the apps available, features, and more. So what are some of the more concrete reasons why I returned it? Reason number 1, there are not enough apps yet. It didn't take long for me to get bored with what was already available in the App Store. Movies, photos, the Notes app, Safari, they were all great staples. But there was nothing new and different that pulled me away from my other devices in a way that only the Vision Pro could offer. For gaming, I wouldn't say I have as much time as I did in my youth, but I was looking forward to exploring some new titles and experiences I've never had before, only to be let down at the current selection. I knew well in advance this is going to be a slow start, but for now, it was maybe a little too limited. Reason number 2, I'm trying to live more intentionally. And this isn't necessarily a fault of the Vision Pro. With my 9 to 5, running this channel, family, kids, sports, and activities, it feels like I'm already behind the 8 ball after work with all my other priorities. I'm always in a constant debate of how I can be a better husband or father, yet still have time for my own hobbies, my health, and my other endeavors. Well, the problem with the Vision Pro is that it further cements my time in a desk chair, alone in my office doing my own spatial computing things. Yes, I can sit in the living room and use it around family, but even though I can see them and they can see my eyes, everyone knows I'm still in my own little universe. And it is much different than pulling out my iPhone and checking apps on there. The Vision Pro just sends the wrong body cues. And for things like movies, I'm lucky if I get to watch 3 or 4 movies a year. Seriously. If I have that luxury, I want to watch something with my family. I don't have time, or I guess maybe the priority of watching 2 hours of entertainment alone. Lastly, on this point, I guess I'm also saying I want to maintain more balance in my life, get outside, minimize screen time, and have one less tech gadget grabbing for my time. Reason number 3, and this is a big one, comfort. In my last video, I blasted the Vision Pro the most on comfort and is the reason I told the fine folks at the Apple Store why I was returning it. And that is one of my primary reasons. I tried the different face pads, the dual loop band, different ways of adjusting it on my face, and while I think I had even enough pressure all around and it blocked light perfectly with its fitting, it was just not something I wanted to wear more than 10 or 15 minutes. My face would hurt, my forehead would get sore. If I was laying in bed, looking at the ceiling, watching a movie, I would take 90% of the tension off with that side dial on the strap, and the weight alone of the device would still hurt my face. Not only was it uncomfortable, but the time of day I could use it was mostly before bed after we got the kids down. This is the point I would usually switch from my contacts to my glasses, but now I had to leave in my contacts even longer. So my eyes are already kind of sort of tired and done with it. And on top of that, when you put on the Vision Pro, you eventually get that extra heat building up within the device and your contacts dry out even more. Man, it wasn't all that pleasant, and I didn't love the Vision Pro enough where I would also buy the prescription lenses that I would have to constantly change in and out. Overall, just sort of a warm, overbearing sensation, and it's heavy. I'm definitely looking forward, though, to a future version where they can shave off a few 100 grams. Reason number 4, and it's related to comfort, and it's just being awkward. Putting the Vision Pro on and taking it off is a chore, making sure the cord is aligned right and not tangled, recentering it on your face, adjusting it when it says it's not sitting right, walking around with it on, finding a place to set the battery so it doesn't fall or the cord doesn't get hooked on something. It was all sort of annoying. Every time I had to run to the bathroom or grab a snack and frankly give my face a break, I had to repeat all these steps. And with my ADD, I'm always in a state of movement. Reason number 5 is sharing, whether the experience is within the device or the device itself. First, I only know a couple of people that own one. Second, there are not many apps or games that allow for team activities. My ultimate dream is that I have my crew with their own Vision Pros and we're all logging in and playing Call of Duty. Well, we're not there yet, but when we are, it is going to be incredible. I can't wait. As far as sharing the device, that is also a complete chore. Apple has historically not done well with allowing people to create profiles on devices. I would love my children, for example, under my supervision, to be able to put the device on, play games, and see dinosaurs without spending 5 minutes manually adjusting the device for their eyes, clicking all the dots, and on to get it working for them. It's just such a process right now, and if they take it off for a moment, they have to start over. In the future, I'd love for them to select their profile, or maybe have the device identify you by your eyes since it does a retina scan and everyone moves on with their life. Though, let's not forget that our faces are completely different. I would need to spend hundreds of dollars more to get everyone their own light seals for their face, and we'd all need to label whose is whose and be changing those out, and it kind of sounds like a nightmare. Reason number 6 is productivity in work. Now, I will admit, when I was creating my last video review of the unit, I actually found a really nice groove. I would take video recordings from the Vision Pro, airdrop them via the Photos app to my Mac, which I also had in view in my Vision Pro, and then I could drag the clip into my Final Cut Pro timeline, all while looking to the side and checking off my shots on a to-do list and reminders, or adjust my music while I worked. I was in a pretty neat system, and it made me see the future of this device. However, things that are not directly in your line of sight within the Vision Pro are foggy. The device doesn't have the power to make everything around you in crystal clear 4K. Sometimes I'm trying to read a file name on the side of my Vision and I can't until I give it my full attention. Sometimes my clicks are goofed up because I'm, clicking my fingers, but my eyes have already moved on to the next task. With using your eyes to decide clicks and dragging things across your field of view, you don't get the advantage of your muscle memory already built into your hands and fingers like how you can control a keyboard and mouse without having to look at a specific spot on your screen where you're taking the action. Now, some of this is just an adjustment you need to make with how you work, but I guess what I'm saying for now is the cons outweigh the advantages and flashiness of having multiple screens all around you and able to turn around and see anything everywhere. And this leads me to reason number 7, and that is I simply love my Mac Studio and iPad Pro more. I love my studio display. Everything is so crisp and easy to see. And I also love looking out the window at neighbors walking by or the animals and birds going through the yard. I like looking down at my German Shepherd and seeing him for, just a real life moment and a quick pet. Using my Mac or iPad in whatever environment allows me to interact with that environment much more naturally and easily. With my Mac and iPad, I can do things quicker, typing, using apps, creating. Now with the Vision Pro, I did find in certain scenarios I could move just as fast. Let's say I wanted to Google something. Loading Safari, making the window how I wanted it, and using dictation to Google canoes versus kayaks in the search bar, and viewing results was just as fast as I could on a computer, mostly. And that was cool. But then started having to open things in new tabs, manage multiple tabs, undo missed clicks or actions. And the process all starts slowing down just a bit. To me, this device right now is better for consuming. Whereas I, on the other hand, like to create. You have to ask yourself, are you a creator or consumer of content? How do you need to do work? It's going to be a very personal decision. So those are my main observations for now. If I could leave anyone with a tip, I highly recommend in the months or years before you may get this device, if you so choose. If you have an iPhone Pro and the capability to take spatial videos, please do so every now and then. Vacations, family, capture the moments. One day you're going to have one of these devices, and when you visit the spatial videos section of your photos library, you're going to be blown away to see old friends almost in the flesh and relive your past experiences. Honestly, looking at spatial videos and even looking at panorama photos brought a tear to my eye with making me feel like I was in that moment again. That's just my hot tip for the day, but that's my take on the Apple Vision Pro. If I had to rank primary devices from first to last, it'd be my iPhone, Mac Studio, iPad Pro, and honestly, I think my watch HomePods, Apple TV would all outrank the Vision Pro as far as value and how much I get out of them in my everyday life. So that's it. It was fun. The device is super cool. But for me, right now, I'm opting to spend that money on other ways that bring me more joy. Hope this was insightful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.